I'm Erik Tiengo, and okay, just looking the title of the speech, it seems like some packages or some module just written for Postgres. Instead, it's not like this. It's just PG because I love it, Postgres, GIS because it's my job, it's my passion, and interoperability because I want just to show a real case, my own real case, where commercial open source competitor just convert in a one container like Postgres. So the speech is about real case. It's not nothing technical about Postgres. Okay. Quickly, just a presentation of my background and my job are spread around Europe and around just my background study. I come from Denmark, and I learn how the environmental engineer has to approach to the problem solving. My job, my major part of my business is focused on Italy, and I have some also collaboration with some companies, some public companies in Saudi Arabia and also Emirates. My background is environmental engineering. I'm not informatic. My attitude is a problem solving. So I started solve problem by using the sheet, then the calculator, and now the informatics. My tool is GIS. Here is the timeline of myself, just starting at the beginning of more than 15 years old. Like freelance, I'm still a freelance, and during my path, I just contribute to open and also close some company, unfortunately, but we restarted immediately just to stay on GIS solution. In 2010, just a short focus on my first case, my official first case, first approach with the Postgres was when in Trento they called me like consultant to try rewrite a backend application written completely in PLSQL because the database, the standard database that they used was Oracle and Enterprise Edition because it's the only one that accepts spatial extension, and try to rewrite it in pg-gis-interoperability and compare the performance. The conclusion, okay, there's the work just during at least 1 year, but the conclusion, there's also analytical report, but the last conclusion was incredible for me just to test the Postgres. You install it also with version 8.4, and now we are talking about the 10 and the 11 like next release, work perfectly in a GIS approach. So with the performance incredible compared to the Oracle one, and of course Oracle is big, was big, is still big, and they need to write a patch, a particular, a specific patch, to reach the same performance that we got it with Postgres. The particular thing that there was not tuning apart from me, so I just installed it, and we rewrite the store procedure, the packages, and there's not concept of packages in Postgres, so we are just create a schema and a lot of function and procedure, and we simulate the same thing that I just read in the PLSQL, and we won. This is, okay, the content of the speech. There are two cases, one simple on the left, and one more enterprise. I just, honestly, is my first enterprise architecture project on the right. The first one is a province of Brescia that are my customer, but especially are my friend, because the collaboration started since 2007. Instead, for the right case, unfortunately, I have not the authorization to say the name of the company, but it's a public company. And at that point, just I prefer to use John Doe. And you know that John Doe in US is the name when with no name person is not recognized. In both cases, we see or I show requirements before my advice, my technical advice. There's is where I contribute, and the 2B that is not really the 2B because is my dream. Okay, there's some issues that I hope that the guys accept. But are some like a suggestion, are not is not planification of the issue that you see. Requirements. We need to manage the seat. The seat is not really the right translation of GIS. The seat is stay for sorry for not Italian people. This is Sistema Informativo Territoriale, and we have to manage SIT like in the backend side, so with the geo database, and also in the front side, so offer the content of that database through the geo portal. Cadastral date, so data that province in that case collect from and synchronize from a pusher like Agenzia del Territorio, previous according, and an institutional portal that embed also the geo portal. Thank you to Dario Domenico that offer this fantastic schema, I think, very romantic. It's not so technical, but it's very romantic. You can see public on Prezi. So before, when I approached province, I got Oracle Enterprise Edition, that version, in cluster. In that database was installed ArchiSDA, that is a catalog management offered by Esri. And also Oracle Portal was based, or like Oracle Portal is concept, is a CMS for Oracle, and like the other CMS, use the backend side, so Oracle backend, to put all the information in tables, in table structure. Other to these items were also a LAMP structure, a LAMP stack, with Joomla like CMS on the front end. And just to was the first problem that I got, because province is not in-house, so normally just take research from outside, and from outside find Oracle people, Oracle skilled people at the low cost. Sorry for this one, but at low cost. Necessarily has to jump to other side. So they try to simulate, okay, they build the architecture of the portal with the portal, Oracle portal, and all the customization, sorry, was made by LAMP, by PHP. Okay, as is. My contribute, okay, was to substitute the Oracle Enterprise instance, 2 instances, with Postgres 9.3. I started with 9.4, but I got immediately a problem with the with the binary library, the external compiled binary supplied by Esri, and they told me, no, you have to downgrade the version. You have to choose another version of Postgres. So, because with ArcCDA at that release, 10.3, the requirements cut the version of Postgres, limited the version of Postgres to that situation. Upgrading to 10.4, you can approach it to jump to 9.4, and nowadays there's a 10.5.1, you can jump also to 9.5, no more. Otherwise, you got again the problem. Unfortunately, now there's also, there's another instance of Oracle, just is dedicated, is only for the cadastral data. Honestly, I just checked it. Agenzia del Territorio, the pusher of the data, don't require some particular vendor like database. So we have the chance to change it also, the Oracle instance with the Postgres. I tried to candidate Postgres, of course. And I hope also I have to write maybe the wrapper for the PHP procedure that they have and they offer on the site to help this kind of synchronization, okay? LAMP is still present on the stack, but they changed the CMS from Joomla to Drupal. And fortunately now, without the Oracle portal, all the GeoPortal and institutional website is written in PHP and offered by Drupal. To be. Jump to the last release of ArcCDA. So to remove the limitation on Postgres version and at least come to 9.5. And the CentOS now is 6.9. I hope also to upgrade to 7.4. In that case, is not a problem. Is included in the standard of the province of Brescia. And at least I can just propose also Ubuntu server, because in the compatibility metrics of Esri is honestly, more than CentOS, is the real open source alternative distro that you have to use it without problem, okay? I prefer CentOS because it's RPM, is a Red Hat clone. It's not like this, but anyway. And also, if you look at the requirements, you can see that they accept that you use in production also CentOS version instead of Red Hat, because they trust that they offer the same kernel, the same consistency. Just to reach high availability. Okay, the first one is not, but anyway, just replace in the stack of LAMP MySQL with Postgres. Just not because there's no problem with MySQL, but we can just normalize all the database chain. The same thing I hope that can occur with Oracle and the cadastral data. Introduce Barman because now we use only cron tab and pgdump, okay? And of course, just to offer the same cluster situations, cluster architecture that with Oracle Enterprise was made, just jump to introduce RPM rep manager for replication in not standby. My contrib, in that case, I just developed some tools, okay, productivity tool with compiled code, like compiled code with C# and Python for a model builder, and I rewrite all the PL-SQL with the pg-SQL, of course. No Oracle, C, yes, for Oracle, for Postgres, sorry. Quickly. Requirements for the John Doe case. Oracle migration, so slowly migration data structure. But it's important just to understand is as culture and not like time consumption. The migration are very fast, okay? So is the tough things is just to introduce concept that you can do the same thing with Postgres without necessarily use Oracle, okay? This is the approach you have to understand me when I approach to all the sysdba, okay? And they can make a wall between them and me, and I, sorry. And because they say, hey, by Oracle, I just configure and that's all, okay? Esri è open source suite compliant, quindi they have, for some reason, for some application, need to install Esri catalog, as SDA catalog, but also have some open source clients like Quantum-GIS. Thank you to Postgres with geometry columns, data type, can offer the same data without no replication to the commercial part and also to the open source part. DMZ, because in the structure, in the actual structure, they have a clone of all the stack, web server, and also database outside, not outside, but in DMZ site. SUSE, this one is the before, SUSE Linux Enterprise, like operating system. Red Hat for that vertical column, and also Oracle because was the requirements of Esri. And I know that also some instance of SQL Server and DB2, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that is not for GIS data management, so it's not my task. Here, just thank you for John Doe to offer me this slide. So the SIS changed a bit. So SUSE Linux Enterprise was confirmed. Postgres was introduced with the minor version 9.5 for Esri requirements, and 9.6 where the GIS data is not necessary. RepMGR just to manage the replica in the standard case. But for a particular case, like a high vertical table with a roller of data with a time frame of 4 months, we prefer just to use a PG logical, PG barman, like extension, partman, for the partitioning, a PG logical just to transfer and synchronize the replica node without make suffering in barman, because really is a like audit logs table. So we need just to, in high availability, all this million of data, something like more than 5 million of data for 4 months. And we have just to ensure that that data, we can just get it from web application in the best performance. PG Bouncer, we tested, but only in dev layer, and is not jumping on the production because we have some requirements that PG Bouncer don't care. Just so is not the right tool for some part of the schema. So now we can make good tests for some database, for some instance, but with Kerberos access, we cannot use PG Bouncer. Backup, the sysdba write a personal script procedure to make export of the base backup and wall files on tape. This one is Herman task normally. But in that case, you have to write by yourself, like also Gabriele answer in some post. You can just you can start from barm list files command, and then from them you can just involve your procedure. Now, this is. It's still one red hat on the bottom, but we hope just to remove it and substitute with the SUSE. To be CentOS or Ubuntu instead of SUSE Enterprise Linux. We have to discuss it. If the subscription and the support is very important, okay, SUSE is perfect. Otherwise, we try to move on the other two distro. Introducing to PostgreSQL, Barman, homogenization of Postgres version. Most of the problem is linked to Esri. So with Esri, we can just move and jump to the 10 version, but only for not that GIS data management. With that Esri catalog, we can jump all the version 9.5 and 9.6 to the 10. Okay, this is my suggestion. It's not is only a suggestion. I hope that they accept it. Okay. Postgres, also in that case, I just explained before. PostgreSQL. The problem is linked to mine. I know the background. I don't know about PostgreSQL just to make a technical advice. So we prefer to postpone in the future the test. We can try to apply on the dev layer, and only in we get the right comfort. Maybe we can just start to jump to PostgreSQL. Maybe it's not the case, maybe yes, I don't know in that moment. But we talk also about this opportunity. Docker. Several tests are started about Docker. It's nice for a sort of a full stack, so maybe like in DMZ. So you can just deploy it in vertical. You can have with a minimal effort all the stack. But for now, we prefer not to use Docker in production. With Barman, we started. Okay, sorry for the X because it's not really the X. It's the Z. So now we use a resync also for the backup, for the base backup, and also for the wall. And we want just to move in this direction. Okay, in diagonal, just to add also the wall streaming, and maybe just to reach, not for the entire infrastructure, but maybe for the Dockerization Postgres, this kind of backup. My contrib, in this case, technical advice, just implemented the streaming wall for the replica, so for the high availability. Changed the task, the official task was the last one, so migrated from 10.4 to 10.5. But we, in one shot, we just made some step on the base, so changed the operating system, changed also the database. And I developed a Python module just 7 months ago. I discovered that LDAP2PG only 2 months ago, and also in that case is in the schedule just to test it and maybe substitute my module. My consideration are not a limitation; is a consideration according to the advice, the technical advice with the SysDBA. Barman, there's some lack, okay, but we are pretty sure that it's still growing, and included also, I know that S3, the exportation of the files on S3 device, the S3 store, sorry. But we hope also, okay, with the tape is a bit old-fashioned system, but my client has that type of device. So instead to in anarchy way write your procedure, okay, we ask to Barman to write the Airman procedure just to export the whole files in tape, in write and also in read. Nice things is the catalog of Postgres extension, but like PyPy, there's a lot of packages, and maybe for the system that the sysdba is not so easy to understand, to fully understand which is the right partition. Okay, I love it, but it's not maybe the same for the sysdba, and also for the load balancing and the failover, there's some post around, but there's not some guideline from the Postgres community, okay? So maybe this one is to take in account. About Esri, compatibility metrics of client and geodatabase is the limitation for to decide which kind of which version of you can use in production in your infrastructure. Take care, I started the speech with this warning, and this is a problem. If I want to use the hot standby in high availability, since Esri client write information about session logs and whenever, is a sort of writing approach. It is not good for a recovery hot standby master. So he got all the errors because he can write, the client can write the information that he expects. Okay, so good to have the replica, good to have the hot standby, but you cannot use it with the Esri scenario for high availability. Okay, DevOps, the bridge is Postgres and Postgres for a GIS approach. Just another my suggestion or wishes is just to have a native archiving and native log transaction by versioning. Because now only the joint between Oracle and Esri offered to me in a configuration mode these two features. I hope that in Postgres in the future can add it in the core. Summary, the conclusion, GisExpert, Postgres is the database. For development is so beautiful using Postgres to develop natively directly on the database on the backend side, but also your web application. And for operator, there's a lot of features that you can choose it, but all these features are oriented by guarantee the performance and the consistency. So thank you to ITPUG for the opportunity. Thank you for Second Quadrant that 4 years ago, in a professional way, introduced me in Postgres. GisUp, that is my new project. I hope good things for GisUp. And thank you for your attention. Okay.
Do we have any questions? No.
Scusate, parlo in italiano. Erik, anch'io come te ho, diciamo, il problema di Esri. Esri è una soluzione comunque che è collaudatissima, usata da milioni di persone, funziona benissimo, però abbiamo visto che negli anni è rimasta un po' indietro con le versioni di Postgres. Penso, tu sei un tecnico che lavora con Esri da anni, per il problema di tutto il motore SDE, di tutta la logica che ci va dietro. Secondo te, visto che collabori sempre con Esri, c'è la possibilità in futuro che loro tolgano questo motore SD e lavorino come con Quantum GIS, quindi direttamente sulle tabelle Postgres, PostGIS senza usare la metadatazione SDE e modificando quindi anche le librerie ST Geometry per andare nativamente su PG-Geometry, insomma. Vedi qualche speranza in questo senso o no? Ok.
No, I answer in English or in Italian? In English, okay. Quickly, is a false problem the compiled library on the server side, because are important when you want to write a backend procedure and you want just to use SDA dot some function, ST some function. So if you write on the server side, there's this big limitation. It's not the catalog. I hope also the catalog, because now with the direct connection, they can try to image if that table with the columns, with the geometry columns is point, multi-line, or multi-polygon, or so on. And it's okay. We use our map to cache this information. And also when you publish, there's not a lack of performance. The problem, and when, for example, in our case, in 2011, if you, your intelligence is stay in the back end with a lot of function, a lot of procedure, and you use SDA function, you have to, you are slave of Esri, and they are dynamic. So the SO is compiled with a particular version of Postgres. For me, it's not a limitation I tried, but you got an error. So unfortunately, Esri comanda. Okay.
Other question?
Posso parlare in italiano anch'io? Sì. Non è proprio possibile sostituire completamente Esri con qualcosa di open source nel tuo caso di utilizzo, nei vostri casi di utilizzo, ossia eliminando la parte Esri e usando strumenti open source che meglio si interfacciano a Postgres?
Just now, there's both approach. So we use on the client side Quantum GIS and also RMap for authoring. So it's not the problem from client and the database. It's the least of the problem. The problem is if you want, other than RMap on the client side, you have all the all the platform that Esri offer. So RGIS server, RGS portal, but you have to be compliant with the package, with something that Esri need to know just to make a right publication. So honestly, if you are a freelance, you have to produce your data by yourself, and you're not have some publishing layer like GeoServer or like whatever, GIS server, you can substitute the client side with the open source and Postgres. This is my standard when I have the opportunity to propose to the client the solution. Otherwise, you have to go to the interoperability. I don't know, ti tappi il naso and try to arrange both sides.
Other questions? Okay, I think we are done. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you, everybody.